Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Gonna jump into some bite down boxing talk. Personally, this is one of those weekends where we got to take a look at, we kind of have to be respectful of what each other's interest in boxing is. I think it's two good fights this weekend and one great fight, to be honest. But it may not move the needle for all boxing fans. It just may not. But I love that the fights don't overlap this weekend. With that being said, we have action on ESPN Plus Friday night, which is headlined by Jose Ramirez against Jose Pedraza, which is a 140-pound junior welterweight showdown, super lightweight, however you want to look at it. And I think it's a very interesting fight at 140. Ramirez just coming off his first loss to undisputed champion Josh Taylor. And it's kind of a chance for him to get back in the mix, especially with Taylor hinting at going up to welterweight. Like I said, who knows? Once cooler heads prevail, maybe he'll give that some second thought. That's kind of not the performance that he had against Jack Catterall. That's not the way that you want to walk away or want to go into a division full of real sharks. We're not even talking about the champions that would be major threats to him. Taylor against Virgil Ortiz Jr. or Jaron Ennis. Those are questionable fights for him. Maybe even a Staniosis would be a good fight, or the Bactier cat, the Russian, I think. So I don't know if he wants to really leave 140. Which brings me to a point. A quick question, a quick aside. What is our feeling on Ben Davis, trainer Ben Davis? What's kind of like his I don't know how he became a focal point for anything. Here's a guy who Tyson Fury walked away from when he wanted to go get right in a rematch against Deontay Wilder. We haven't seen Ben Davis. Is it Davison or Davis? Now that I think about it. But not a big impact to the Devin Haney camp. And now here we have Josh Taylor's former trainer. Of course, the former trainer was going to say something negative about Ben Davis. But what is his claim to fame as a trainer? Besides the fact he can speak about boxing really good. But I just don't know how this dude became a focal point. And how to be a focal point for world champion fighters. Like, what is his claim to fame? But anyway, so that's the ESPN Plus card. Gabriel Flores Jr. trying to get back on track for himself. Like I said, not these names don't move the needle for many people. But it is what it is. I do think the main event, Ramirez and Pedraza, I think is going to be solid action. I can't upsell it for more than that. Some guys that have been world champion fighters. Ramirez being a unified champion. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you don't care for the Mexico versus Puerto Rico, if that's not a selling point for you, I guess you do something else Friday night. Also on that card is Carlos Balderas, a former U.S. Olympian. I think maybe this is his second fight with a top rank. He's trying to come back from the disappointing knockout that he had as he left PBC. So I want to see how Balderas looks. There's a cat on there named Sheehy, a youngster on there named Sheehy. And then the U.S. Olympian Richard Torres, the heavyweight, is also fighting on here. This might be his professional debut. So again, boxing cannot give you the Super Bowl every Saturday. Boxing can't give you, an Eastern Conference, Western Conference finals game every Saturday. Sometimes you got to watch these Chargers versus Indianapolis Colts games. Or sometimes you got to watch the Dallas Mavericks against Portland or something. Anyway, Saturday night, the best in boxing this week. I don't know how you can hate on it. I don't know how you can be disappointed. I don't know how you can disregard it. I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight. I can't wait to watch it. I think it's gonna live up. I think it's gonna live up to expectations. I don't see it going to a decision, but we get on the zone out in San Diego. Chocolatito, Roman Gonzalez against Julio Cesar Martinez, coming up from a weight class below. We were supposed to be getting arguably the biggest fight of the first quarter of 2022 with Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada having their trilogy match. But Juan Francisco Estrada had COVID and was pulled. Martinez, who was a division below and a champion there, the WBC champion there, he was like, I'll do it. I'll come up and I'll fight, one of the best fighters of the last 10, 12 years. So now, with that said, Julio Cesar Martinez was just dropped last time out against McRoyo or Williams or McWilliams Arroyo. One of them, I forget their names, but he was dropped like in the first round. He came back and dropped Arroyo a couple of times, and it was a cut or something, and the fight didn't go beyond the third or fourth round. So we didn't get the big conclusion there to see if Martinez was going to pull that out. But here you are going up a division and then fighting a guy like Chocolatito, who is a phenomenal offensive fighter. His offense is his defense. Very smart fighter. Very just a true boxer. Just completely committed to boxing and his reputation and all of that stuff. If you ever listen to Chocolatito talk, man, he's a pretty interesting and very genuine guy. But they're going to go in here and look to tear each other apart. I just said that Martinez was in a fight where he was knocked down in the first round, came back, got some knockdowns at the end of the first round or the second round of his opponent. So I would expect this one to start pretty fast. Martinez really isn't, even though he's trained by Eddie Reynoso, not really a technician, not that much into the sweet science and boxing. Martinez is pretty much whose heart is bigger guy, who has more will. Like, if you can't come in here and commit to being as violent and as reckless as I am, I'm probably going to kick your ass. I'm going to beat you up and get you out of here. That's his style. And Chocolatito being the bigger man, you wouldn't suspect him to back down and back away from that type of firefight. But I just think he might be a little bit too much skilled and a bigger puncher and a number of other boxes that I could check in Chocolatito's favor, to where I just think it's going to be an excellent fight. So, if you're looking for a bout that you can check out where it's probably not going to come down to any corrupt or incompetent judging, the worst thing we might see is if the fight doesn't get stopped in time. We could see a guy maybe take some additional punishment or something like that, and we're complaining that the referee didn't come in time. I could see something like that happening. But other than that, I think it's just going to be an excellent fight for those that like to tune in to see carnage, like to see brutality and all of that type of stuff. But all fair and square within the confines of boxing. I really think that's going to be a phenomenal fight. The undercard, not a lot of big names on it. I think the Castro kid is on there. He might be 4-0. Diego Pacheco, I think I saw his name on there. Super middleweight. He might be 8-0, 9-0. Who else was on there? Not really anybody else of note, I don't believe. So, like I said, if you want to just do your thing this weekend and don't want to be tied down to your television, you could watch this fight on demand, honestly. Or, you could just tune in at the end of the night when the main event starts, and you still get to keep your weekend and see an excellent fight. So I'm interested to see if Martinez can really hurt Chocolatito. Can he get his respect? Will Chocolatito fight his fight? I think he's up against it, but I salute the cat for stepping up and taking the challenge. we'll see what happens. Just some other stuff before I get on out of here. You know, looking around at social media boxing, online boxing, unprecedented situation that we have with Usyk, the unified heavyweight champion. Was in the middle of trying to finalize whenever we were going to see the rematch with him and Anthony Joshua. Now this man is kind of, you know, on the sidelines in a battalion, you know, fighting for his country in the Ukraine or in Ukraine, and, you know, with no definite return. He's definitely not in the gym every day. I mean, the man is out here running around in a flak jacket with you know, a machine gun and toting around ammunition and whatnot. And just personally with that situation, what kind of becomes a concern for me, this dude could just be taken out with a missile strike. It's not even one-on-one, us shooting at some guys 50, 35 yards over here in some urban warfare. Like somebody, the Russians could just have a position on where his group of people are, and a missile could fly in there and just blow everybody up. And this dude, you know, lose his life along with the rest of his countrymen. So that's kind of something, just how I think through things. You know, I see him out here with the picture, with him in the body armor and the fatigues and whatnot, and holding a machine gun and all of this type of stuff. But he can be touched from long range, similar to boxing, but I'm not trying to use an analogy for just the sake of using an analogy. But seriously, this dude could be taken out without even seeing who his opponent is or who his enemy is with the missile strike. So I think when we think about him, the Klitschko brothers, as well as what's my other dudes? Oh, Lomachenko. It's not really a matter of them being, you know, running around behind barriers and barricades and whatnot, trying to avoid bullets. These dudes could be at a location that's hit with the missile, and I think that's not something we talk about regularly in boxing, obviously. But now I just see online, you know, that it becomes a matter of should the sanctioning bodies strip him? Like he gives a shit about that right now. But should he be stripped? And should Joshua go and face Ruiz? Should Joshua face Deontay Wilder, who we really don't even know what Wilder's status is at this point? And you know, it's just a matter. You know, I say it all the time. Like online is wild. You know, now everybody is a matchmaker. Everybody is a foreign policy expert. Everybody is into geopolitics, and all this other noise comes into play. While, like I said, Usyk is out here risking everything, literally. So, you know, I guess the WBC, I mean the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO, I guess they go do whatever they need to do while this man is out trying to protect his damn home and fight for his homeland. You know, like I said, I'm sure, I don't even know why he even issued a statement to whoever asked him about boxing. Like, I'm busy right now. But with that said, Lomachenko at lightweight, who was in the midst of possibly there being putting a fight together for him to face unified champion George Kambosos Jr. over in Australia in the next 3 to 5 months or whatever. Now I just saw a headline about Oscar De La Hoya pushing for Ryan Garcia to step in and be the opponent to Kambosos in Lomachenko's place. Like, that dude is unavailable. The rest of us live in a better country, a more secure country right now. Business as usual. I just put Ryan Garcia in there, provided that he gets past Emmanuel Tego. But that's just weird. That's a weird juxtaposition for me to sit here with guys, like I said, in gravely serious matters out here in warfare. And, you know, the boxing world is just like the rest of the world is at peace and, you know, normal day-to-day business. You can just worry about your next fight. Cold world. So that's that. Not a whole lot. Like I said, not a whole lot more to get into schedule wise. Oh, I guess since I got a couple minutes, Dillian White skipping the press conference, the first press conference with Tyson Fury for that heavyweight championship match. I think I don't think it was a good look. I mean, obviously, but as I mentioned before this fight was named or announced, and before we found out what the plan was, interestingly enough, the pay-per-view will be available on all platforms. In comparison to when they had the last Terrence Crawford fight against Sean Porter, you had to have ESPN Plus to purchase that fight. And so a lot of people, we know Keith Thurman said he was too ignorant to figure out how to do it. Okay. But here it is now. There was an argument to be made that by making a decision to make that pay-per-view only available through ESPN Plus, that hurt the sales or the buy rate for that fight. And I think that's plausible. Here we are with this heavyweight fight, and now you don't need ESPN Plus to buy it. I think that's interesting. Am I going to sit here raving about that's racism, that was a racially influenced decision by Top Rank? I'm not going down that road. I don't think it was necessarily that simple. I just think it was dumb as hell. And maybe it was some kind of play that was trying to be made to push to like test out or prove or disprove the effectiveness of ESPN Plus. Bob Arum has been vocal about that platform and how valuable it is, and even alluded to the fact that he thought PBC and Errol Spence should be beating down Top Rank's door to make the fight because of how large ESPN Plus is. I don't agree with ESPN Plus being that damn big, but that, I think, like I said, I think that was a misstep. Did it kill 100,000 potential buys for Porter and Crawford? Probably not, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But the heavyweight fight will be, you won't need ESPN Plus to buy it. And that's the thing, boxing just has all these damn details that just keep it from being from people. It creates barriers for people to get to the damn product. Over and over again, it's a million different obstacles and hurdles for the fans to get to the damn product, or for them to deliver the right product to the fans. And speaking of something like Crawford and Spence, but with Dillian White not attending the press conference, I was sitting here before the fight was announced and they confirmed that it was on pay-per-view. I'm not eager to give up $75 to watch Tyson Fury fight against just anybody. He's not that type of fighter for me. The drama was baked in, the rivalry was baked in, and the stakes were there with him and Wilder, and I understood. I could understand the pay-per-view there. But just for you to tell me moving forward, every time Tyson Fury enters the ring, he's talking about retirement again, but anytime that he enters the ring, I'm gonna have to pay $75 to see it. I'm not all that eager to do that. And then for it to be Dillian White, I mean, this is a dude coming two fights ago. The dude got knocked out in the 4th or 5th round by a 40-something-year-old cat in Alexander Povetkin. So, like I said, man, we just following boxing is some difficult it's an arduous task right now. And some people week to week, I see people, other YouTubers and online writers get over it, pay the money, buy the fight. I buy the fight. You just complaining, you crying. Nah, I'm not really crying. I'm not really complaining. I'm looking at what my dollars represented at one time, and then I'm looking at what my dollars get me now when it comes to pay-per-view. And I think I'm keeping up my end of the bargain because my payment is going up. And the value that I'm receiving for my money is going down in my estimation, the way that I look at things. So I'm not here to just blindly pay for this stuff. You know, I mean, you got to give me something in return. Another note. So anyway, with Dillian White not being there and us not getting any theatrics, there was no outburst. There was no altercation. No slick comments said. I didn't really see anything that really kind of helped me move forward with buying this fight. You know, I'm still sitting here like I might have to sit this one out. I already know what the outcome of the fight is going to be anyway. How I get to the outcome, is it really worth $75 to me? I don't know. I need to see. I need to see something else to kind of push me over the hump to buy that fight. So I think it was a terrible look for Dillian White. And maybe he doesn't give a damn because, you know, the dude is getting $7 or $8 million for this fight. You know, the deal is the fight is signed and whatnot. It's not like his bag can get interfered with. But to not show up and play a part of the promotion, there was something out there. He wanted a private jet. He said something else about he doesn't want his face. Like this isn't doing anything for him to win the fight. You know, you're not going to rattle Tyson Fury. You're not going to play mind games with Tyson Fury. Like, nothing outside, nothing before the date of the fight. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, April 23rd or whatever it is. You're not going to do anything to rattle Tyson Fury. I mean, this man went toe-to-toe for almost 30 rounds or whatever with Deontay Wilder and everything that was involved in that situation. There is nothing that Dillian White is going to do to rattle Tyson Fury. I mean, it's just not happening. So show your ass up at the press conference, work the fight, and give us something to chew on. Give us some kind of hook for us to get excited about this fight, which isn't, you know, in the history of heavyweight championship fights, this is really not a big deal. It's got a big price tag on it, but my expectations for this really aren't that great. You know, Dillian White is a guy, for me personally, he's not a guy that shows up in great shape for every fight. When he fought Wak, that wasn't a great performance, you know, to go 10 rounds or whatever with what's his name, Marius Wak or whatever. So I'm like I said, his track record, how he got here, it's not like he's must watch for me. He's not. And I don't dislike Dillian White, but you got to do your part here. You got to pull your load, show up, and give me some reason to care about this fight. What was the last thing I was just getting ready to mention before we get out of here? Damn. Anyway, that's it, man. I hope you enjoy the fight this weekend. Again, week after week after week after week. When we do see excellent boxing performances, nobody really screams about those. No, the world really isn't all abuzz about some random victory. It's like the victory or the performances have to come from 3 or 4 fighters. And I think a lot of people are robbing themselves of kind of the best that boxing can offer because of the business of boxing. Week to week, it's not going to be Errol, 3 times a year, it's not going to be Errol Spence doing something. 3 times a year, it's not going to be Terrence Crawford doing something. 3 or 4 times a year, it's not going to be a marquee name that's done something. We might have to really appreciate what Jesse Rodriguez did a couple of weeks ago against Carlos Cuadras. That might be the best thing that boxing delivers for us. It's not always going to be this big name that we want to see. And I don't know when that real people talk about boxing like it's a league. Week to week on social media, on online boxing talk, a lot of people talk about boxing like it's a league. You see somebody beat somebody, And then we just randomly throw out here the other person that we want to see that person fight. And 90% of the names that you would throw out here for fighter A to fight, there's 20 reasons why that fight can't happen or won't happen. It's not a league. I feel like I'm saying something obvious, but I sit here and I watch week to week. So-and-so win a fight, and then 20 minutes later, we're talking about this other dream matchup that we want to see, and boxing just doesn't work like that. So I don't even know how we even get excited about this stuff and waste our time throwing out what we want to see when that's just really not how it works. But anyway, we get what we get. Let me get on off of here to end of my lunch break. Bite down, boxing. Don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Tomorrow night, fights. Ramirez and Pedraza. Good enough for me. I'm out. Peace.